Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to try to move things along, although I must say that I am enjoying the nice weather after too many rainy days and finally getting something that resembles more like springtime weather. Before I introduce you to our esteemed guest, I want to say exactly why it is that we're standing here in front of the Swift Factory building. Swift Factory was once an economic engine for this neighborhood. It was a premier gold leafing factory. And as many of you may have heard, there's even a story here about the grandson's founder who for 78 years used to drive the same Rolls-Royce to and from this place before his death. Swift was the hub for jobs activity in this area. Over 10 years ago, this factory, this plant, closed its doors. That is the past. Today, we're here to talk about the future of this community. We're here to discuss a plan that the city and our community, working hard in partnership with our senators, and I'll speak more to that later, to have a discussion about what lies ahead. And it has been through hard work, discussion, disagreement, and compromise that we have all come together for one common goal, and that is to give the residents of this community access to opportunity. So here to introduce a monumental step in that direction is U.S. HUD Secretary Nancy Colleretti. Let's please give her a warm, felt, hard, warm welcome to the Deputy Secretary Nancy Colleretti.
Thank you so much, Mayor Segarra, for that generous introduction and for your great leadership. And good morning, Hartford. So I want to begin by saluting Mayor Segarra and his team. They've rolled up their sleeves, and they outlined a truly innovative plan to secure a brighter future for this city and for its citizens. And at HUD, we believe that opportunity begins with a secure home, but it doesn't end there. As Secretary Julian Castro says, children need rigorous instruction inside the classroom and enrichment activities after the school day ends. Parents need access to training so that they're equipped to succeed in the job market of tomorrow. Communities need investments that improve public safety and promote a better overall quality of life. And everyone needs a government that works for them, that's responsive, and that brings people to the table to address challenges. So the bold vision that local leaders have helped to develop to invest in the North Hartford neighborhood as part of President Obama's latest Promise Zone competition would advance all of those goals. And that's why I'm really proud to stand here today to announce that North Hartford is officially a Promise Zone community. So I just want to say there were over 120 applications for this designation, and only 8 got them. So you really need to be proud of what happened here. And I want to tell you a little bit about it, so bear with me. What this means for North Hartford is that it will receive priority consideration for federal investments, federal staff on the ground to help the community implement its goals, 5 full-time AmeriCorps Vista volunteers to recruit and manage other volunteers, which will help be important for the long-term success of this initiative. It's a big win for the nearly 24,000 residents who call North Hartford home.
Here, here.
And it will help every community in this great city share in its economic future. To achieve that, and I want to tell you a little bit about how great this application was. Hartford brought together partners from city government, local businesses, and nonprofit groups, and developed a comprehensive plan to expand opportunity for residents in 6 key ways. The first and most important, I think, is creating jobs. That will begin with restoring the former Swiss Gold Leaf Factory. This complex will be restored to a state-of-the-art urban farm and food service center. When fully developed, the new complex will include 3 different culinary operations, including a commercial kitchen, a teaching kitchen, and a business incubator that will support a new generation of food service entrepreneurs. And the complex's roof will be transformed into a hydroponic growing facility that will support year-round jobs in agriculture, if you can imagine it. Right. Second, the North Hartford Promise Zone will increase economic activity by investing in mixed-use commercial development. That includes cleaning up blighted industrial sites, improving streets in commercial districts, investing in Wi-Fi and other digital infrastructure, and working with partners to create competitive loan programs for businesses. Third, North Hartford will invest in reducing crime and improving overall public safety. The city will bring Hartford police and probation officers together with local nonprofit groups to help reduce the number of citizens who return to jail. And it will provide mental health resources and counseling to youth who've experienced or been exposed to violence, especially violence in the home. Fourth, the community will work to increase access to a quality education. That will include creating more STEM classes and science learning opportunities for students beginning in elementary school. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And it will include programs aimed at improving literacy among both youth and adults. The fifth goal in North Hartford's plan for Promise is investing in overall community health and wellness. That will begin with a renewed focus on providing support to new and expectant mothers so that they can cope with the joys and the stresses of parenting. And it will include resources for young children in low-income households to ensure that their developmental and healthcare needs are being met. The sixth step for success will be to expand home ownership opportunities and also increase the amount of affordable rental housing. And that will mean housing counseling for first-time home buyers and current homeowners who get into financial trouble. And it will also mean that more low and moderate income residents are able to take advantage of the city's down payment assistance program. And more low-income families will receive assistance to help cover the cost of rent. So this is an exciting day for North Hartford, but it's a big day. I'm happy to be part of a positive story today in cities. In addition to North Hartford, 7 other communities are today receiving Promise Zone designations, including Minneapolis, Minnesota, Sacramento, California, Indianapolis, Indiana, Camden, New Jersey, St. Louis and St. Louis County, Missouri, Pine Ridge, South Dakota, and South Carolina Low Country. And our partners across the Obama administration will begin working with leaders in these communities right away to make innovative plans for change a reality. So I want to thank everybody who made today possible, beginning with Senator Chris Murphy.
Yes.
I spoke to the senator yesterday to talk a little bit about today's event, and I know he's been an incredible champion for the Promise Zone initiative. It's a very personal, important initiative to him, and for ensuring that we're doing everything we can to expand opportunity to more Americans. I want to thank again Mayor Segarra for bringing the City of Hartford together through this collaborative effort, and I know there are a number of City Council members here today. And I also want to thank the City of Hartford, the State of Connecticut, and more than 30 Promise Zone partners that include the Northeast Revitalization Association, the United Way of Central and Northeastern Connecticut, the YMCA of Greater Hartford, and many, many others. And I want to commend my colleagues at HUD and throughout the Obama administration for their tireless work to strengthen communities and expand opportunity for more of our fellow citizens, no matter where they live. So we always say at HUD that a zip code should never limit the opportunities and the hopes parents have for their children. And if we continue to work together to expand the promise of opportunity for every community in our nation, it never will be a determinant. Thank you.
You know, I've been in Hartford for over 40 years, and I struggled right along with a lot of you, and it's just incredible how when we all come together, the amazing things that can happen to move our community forward. I'm just so proud of all of you, and I want to thank Deputy Secretary. This is huge, absolutely huge. Today is my birthday, and And this is the best, I think this is the best birthday gift that has come to me in my whole existence. Well, maybe I thought a little bit different when I was a little kid, But North Hartford is just one of those areas that has for too long been neglected, but this area has never been forgotten. It's one of the strongest neighborhoods. We do have entrepreneurs here. We do have strong families here, history, historic buildings that really can all be leveraged for stronger and better economic growth and opportunity. To apply for a Promise Zone designation is not easy. This is an extremely competitive process, as the Deputy Secretary indicated. And finding out right now that we're the only ones in the entire New England area is just really makes me feel proud of all of you out there who had a role to play in this event. So I want to thank some people, and I know in my tradition I always forget somebody when I shouldn't, but I think that I want to thank the following people because this has been a journey. Roseanne Haggerty and Gina Muslim, John Thomas of Community Solutions, and the entire team of Community Solutions staff who has worked so hard to build this effort. Susan Dunn of the United Way and Greg Toledowski, who is here with us today, and the entire United Way team. The United Way has been a leader on this project, and they deserve recognition. I want to acknowledge my staff, all city departments who have worked together in this endeavor: Development Services, Grants, Health and Human Services, Police Department, Hartford Schools, Metro Hartford Information Services, and the Department of Children and Families. What we do is not easy, it's challenging, we're overtasked, but it's days like this when you realize that it is worth the effort that we're working towards. To our partners at Capital Workforce Partners, the Connecticut Center for Advancement of Technology, the YMCA, Village for Families and Children, our partners at the NRZ, Darlene Robertson, B. Powell, and Denise Best, also Reggie Hales. Our state reps, Representative McGee, Representative McCrory, who are here with us today. Our City Council President and our council members, and he will acknowledge the other council members. And I personally want to thank the person that I reached out to early on, who help us manage this project and help us to move this initiative forward. That's Thea Montañez of Montañez Consulting. You had your work cut out for you, and you came through. I want to take some serious time to acknowledge and thank the entire staff at Senator Murphy's office, both in Washington and in Connecticut. I've met them, his staff, at both places while I was in Washington. And I just can't tell you how incredibly you have been in working together and partnering for this event. So having said that, I want to introduce an individual who was there since day one. In fact, I describe him as day one, as the genesis of this effort, someone who led this initiative, who created and carved a path for us to be able to succeed, and who helped us to get organized and focused, motivated and inspired us to work together. You see, he came from a sincere place of wanting Hartford to continue its progress. Without him, we will not be celebrating this victory here today. Please welcome and help me welcome a true friend and supporter of this community, your U.S. Senator, Chris Murphy.
Well, thank you very much for those nice words, Mr. Mayor. To the Deputy Secretary, you honor us with your presence here today, and I think that the Mayor has laid this out better than I can. This application, in the end, spoke for itself. To have 30 some odd community partners coming together and not just arguing for incremental change in this neighborhood, but setting a high bar for what these three neighborhoods can be here in the north end of Hartford, inspired those that were looking at these grants in Washington, inspired them to really think about what the north end neighborhoods here in the city could be. And so from the beginning, we decided to set our goals high, that it was about transforming the property behind us into a mixed-use facility that can employ dozens, if not hundreds, of people. It was about an aggressive effort to reach out to children and families in trauma, to give them a holistic set of services, to try to make themselves great like we know that they can be. It's about thinking big in terms of connecting families to healthy options and healthy food throughout these neighborhoods. And it's dreaming about even more partnerships that we can have in and outside of Hartford to bring in more corporate support and more philanthropic support to a lot of the endeavors that are underway. I had seen what Promise Zones had done throughout this country, in particular what the Harlem Children's Zone had done for a neighborhood that had hit hard times, not unlike the north end of Hartford, but it's seen a rebirth, not just of its economy, but of families throughout those neighborhoods because of that community collaborative. And that's why I came to the mayor and to Doug and to Brandon and to so many others to say, let's put together an effort to make the case that the federal government should designate 3 neighborhoods here in the north end of Hartford as a Promise Zone. And it was a big project, one that actually had been started a few years ago without actually coming to fruition. And so we were able to build on some of those efforts. We hopefully did it the right way by going to the community first and making sure that the plan was reflecting the needs that came organically out of these neighborhoods. But in the end, it was a really powerful partnership, a partnership of community members, of nonprofits, the mayor's office, and of the full federal delegation, myself, Senator Blumenthal, and Congressman Larson, that was able to make the pitch to HUD that if they were going to designate a Promise Zone somewhere in the Northeast, that it should be here. And let me just underscore those numbers. 120 applications all across the country, only 8 of them designated. Hartford is one of them. Let me underscore the help that's going to come. It is no small thing that virtually every federal application for help coming to the north end is now going to get additional points allocated to it, is going to get preferential review because it's coming from this zone. It's no small thing that we are immediately going to get a half dozen staff people on the ground here to build out our plan to help implement it. They're called Vista volunteers, but those are full-time staff people who are going to be here helping us in Hartford and the north end with a promise of even more staff to come. It's not a little thing to have designated staff people in Washington that are looking over our project and our plan and helping us identify federal sources of support. This is a comprehensive set of tools for the north end of Hartford that comes with this designation. It's not just a name, it's not just a logo that will be the North Hartford Promise Zone. It really is an army of support and help that's going to make this vision become real. So again, I just want to thank everyone for believing in this plan. I want to thank all of our partners for coming together, for checking egos and personal and organizational agendas at the door. What is really great about this neighborhood and what our pitch was to HUD is that there are so many great things happening. Forget the statistics about how poor this neighborhood is, about how many challenges that it faces. There are so many people who want to do good and who are doing good things. And what the Promise Zone will allow us... And what the Promise Zone will allow us to do is have an umbrella under which we can better coordinate all of these good intentions in a really thoughtful way. What the Promise Zone will allow us to do is tell the good stories of this neighborhood in a much more robust and public way. And I'll just end with a challenge. Listen, there have been a lot of corporations, a lot of philanthropists and philanthropic organizations that have not stepped up to the plate and invested in this neighborhood like they can. We have a lot of wealth surrounding this neighborhood within a stone's throw. And for a long time, people could just close their eyes to the challenges that families faced here. Well, the Promise Zone gives us an opportunity to go out to people of means, to organizations of means, to companies of means, to tell them that we now have a federal investment in this neighborhood like we have never had before. We have a reason for you to invest alongside us. And we don't need you to invest forever. We need you to invest in helping to break the cycle of poverty. We need you to invest in the kids of this neighborhood so that then they can stand on their own and grow this neighborhood on their own for decades to come. We need an infusion of attention and support, and yes, investment, so that ultimately the greatness of the kids in the streets that surround us can be seen and heard for miles around and years to come. Congratulations. This is a really wonderful day.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for your great leadership and support in making this day possible. And Mr. Council President, I think we're going to have to amend my budget and afford a little bit more resources so that we can get those federal applications in shape to meet our...
So true.
North Hartford is definitely the place to benefit from a Promise Zone designation. I want to allow an opportunity also to have Senator Blumenthal cannot be with us today, but there is a representative from his office who is here and will speak to us. And I would like for Mr. Who's the representative here today? Rich Kehoe, who is here to speak on behalf of the senator.
Thank you very much. I'm Rich Kehoe. I head up the Connecticut office for Senator Blumenthal. And unfortunately, Senator Blumenthal could not be here today to celebrate this great announcement because he is in Washington on Senate business. But certainly his heart and his support of this Promise Zone remains steadfast, and he is certainly with you today in spirit, if not physically. I want to thank the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Senator Murphy, Mayor Segarra, the Hartford City Council for their leadership in making this happen. This is a significant investment in the North Hartford area. And as a Promise Zone, it is in fact a promise by the federal government that the federal government will be here for the people of the neighborhood. But it's also, and perhaps more importantly for the long-term success of this initiative, it's a promise by the community that they too will be a partner, an integral partner in this effort. And with the collaboration between the community and the federal government and your city leaders, I have no doubt that this ultimately will be success. Looking forward to coming back time and time again as we see the success of this Promise Zone evidence itself in various ways here. And let us not use this as the end point of the celebration, but really the beginning. Thank you.
This is an effort that has had very solid and strong community support. So I would like to call Darlene Robertson Charles, who is the chair of the Northeast NRZ, and Denise Best, who is the chair of the Upper Albany NRZ, for some comments.
Thank you, everyone. First and foremost, giving honor to God. I thank you. Thank you, Jesus, for this opportunity. I think we all need to be excited about this right now. I'm Darlene Robertson Charles of the Northeast NRZ.
And I'm Denise Best, the chair of Upper Albany NRZ.
Thank you, Mayor, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Senator Murphy. Denise and I both are longtime residents of North Hartford. Denise migrated from Boston 34 years ago, and she decided to stay. I myself, my mom, over 60 years from Crewe, Virginia, been in North Hartford, been here all my life, 54 years. We both raised our children here. We are raising our grandchildren here. This is and will always be our home. Our neighborhood is rich in so many ways. We have rich culture, we have families, we have entrepreneurs, we have people who work very hard and have a lot of residents and stakeholders who cares very deeply about this community. Being here today and getting this designation did not just happen. It happened as a result of a lot of talking, a lot of discussion, and a lot of hard work together. Now that we have this attention, it's on all of us to leverage this opportunity to transform our neighborhood. It's up to us to do the work, to deal with our challenges and prepare ourselves and our children for the future that lies ahead. It took a lot of work to get here, but this is only the beginning. When all is said and done, a door has opened, and it's up to us to walk through it. We want to thank everybody here, everyone who has stayed the course. So on behalf of our residents here in North Hartford, we stand together before you today to let you know how proud we are to receive such a grand opportunity. Let's continue the great works. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my sister in partnership. When you get so far down the agenda, everybody has said what you wanted to say, so I'm just going to make a few points. 1 of 6 urban designations. We should be so, so proud of that.
Yes. Celebrate. We should be celebrating.
It reminds us of the wonderful things that can happen when we work together as one, when we partner and collaborate, and there was a lot of that going on. Yes, thank God. Thank my President Obama. Thank you to Senator Murphy and to Thomas Clark, who brought this information to me personally. I got the information from Tom Clark. Also, John Thomas. I mean, this was a real working effort of people, as was once said, put aside their own individual agendas and sat down to get something done. And Thea Montanez, my goodness, she had to put all of those pieces together to present, and she rocked it. So thank you all for being here. As my sister said, the work has just begun, and we need everybody to pitch in and work along together. Thank you.
And that's what it's about, working together. I want to, again, also from the mayor's office and from the senator's office on his behalf, I guess, send a shout out to TJ Clark, who worked hand in hand with Thea to make sure that we could bring together a process where we would afford people to, I've always believed that disagreement is a good way sometimes to find that common ground, but you never find out what that common ground is if you don't sort of bring people together and find out where we share agreement and disagreement, and at the end we're all that much better for it. We at the city have spent a lot of money, the residents of this city, because it's their tax dollars. We've invested over $100 million in facade programs and infrastructure improvements to the North End. $47.5 million for Thurman Milner School, $68 for Martin Luther King School, which is scheduled, $100 million for Weaver, North End Senior Center, $3 million. Ball field parks and parks improvement to Kinney Park, $23 million. A lot of investments, but the level of need in this community is so big. For so many decades, the resources were not coming in. This program allows us now to leverage those investments and those opportunities with what the possibilities are. That this is just an incredible opportunity for our city. I've been working hand in hand with my council president to try to deal with the challenges that we face in urban areas. As I look at the news and I see what's happening in Baltimore, the very irrational actions of people oftentimes do have a connection to rational fears. So let's work together, and I want to bring our council president. We have a couple of more speakers, but please bear with us. It's a great day. Let's enjoy it. And the sun is really good. So, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to recognize Councilwoman Cynthia Jennings, who's here, our City Treasurer Adam Cloud, Councilman Kyle Anderson, Councilman Larry Deutsch, and I believe I've got all of them. So the mayor, I want to say thank you to everyone who contributed to this, Darlene, all of the NRZs, Denise. This was truly a collaborative effort. And the mayor just mentioned Baltimore. And so to contrast this, what's happening in North Hartford, the place of my birth, with what's happening in Baltimore right now, and the conversation I had to have with my 12-year-old last night, because he didn't want to go to bed because of what was on about Baltimore. And he asked me about Hartford. And he said, have we ever had riots here? And I had to tell him the answer was yes. And we had to talk about that history. And I had to tell him, not far from here, there were riots. And today represents a stark contrast to the denial of hope and opportunity in Baltimore to what a collaborative effort that we have created here. In particular, I want to mention Senator Murphy. I remember the first phone call where he said, would you come to a meeting to talk about this? And I said, of course. I remember the follow-up phone call, which I was surprised by, that it actually came and said, we want to do this, coincidentally it was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And we had that meeting. And I stood when Congressman Murphy was a candidate for U.S. Senate. We stood together, the two of us, right around the corner on Barber Street in front of Seatown Supermarket. And I remember skeptical residents from this community coming up and saying, you've never done anything for us. How can we trust you? And he said to them calmly, he says, well, I actually never had an opportunity to represent this community. But if I do, I promise you, I won't forget you. I will represent this community. And today, Senator, I say thank you for honoring that commitment. And lastly, before I go, I just want to underscore and say thank you, Mayor, your entire administration. Thank you, community leaders. Nothing of this magnitude happens with an individual office holder, an individual community organization, and it's been said before, but it bears repeating: collaboration, checking your eagles at the door, putting a common interest ahead of individual interests and goals, and today proves that it works. So thank you all.
Thank you. I started out by speaking about Swift Factory, and our next speakers are Mr. John Thomas and Gina Muslim from Community Solutions, who are a very central and important partner in this great effort of ours. Community Solutions is working hard to restore Swift Factory, one of the anchors of this Promise Zone designation. And Mr. Thomas has been on the ground, as well as Gina, in bringing the community together. So please welcome Mr. John Thomas and Gina Muslim.
Hi, everyone. I think it is very fitting that we're all standing here on Love Lane for this announcement. So I just wanted to make that remark because I think it kind of makes everybody feel good. On behalf of Community Solutions, I want to say thank you first and foremost to the people of this neighborhood and the people in the neighborhoods that have received this designation. Not only have you welcomed us, but you teach us and you inspire us every day. We believe in the promise of North Hartford because we believe in the people of Hartford. Today's Promise Zone designation is another step towards a brighter future that so many families here need and deserve. I also want to say thank you to the many partners in our work. The state, obviously, Senator Murphy, Blumenthal, Mayor Segarra, Congressman Larson, City Council President, and the Hartford City Council. Our elected officials fought hard to bring this opportunity to North Hartford, and I am proud to stand here with them today. Finally, I want to say something about the place that we're all gathered. The Swift Factory, as Mayor mentioned, was a jobs anchor and a vital institution in Hartford for many years. In fact, on this very spot, residents of this neighborhood once produced gold leaf that had adorned the Capitol Dome building in the state of Connecticut and many state capitals around the country. At Community Solutions, we believe this place can be the kind of community anchor once again. With our amazing partners, and there are so many of them from so many types of places in Hartford, we believe we have a plan to transform this site and many of the other programs associated with designation into success for North Hartford. I want to let John kind of finish up here. Thank you all so very much.
I'm John Thomas, a member of the Community Solutions team and a lifelong resident of North Hartford. I just want to say Becoming a Promise Zone opens doors for real change here at Swift in this community and for the city of Hartford. And in becoming a promise zone, I am proud that we showed great promise in the collaboration and the teamwork that we had to show in order to get a successful application. And I'm happy that we got it. But for me and for us at Community Solutions, this is just the beginning of the next chapter. This shows the promise, but the real hope begins with the action that we must take at this moment now. We must continue to work together, continue to make this promise a reality. Thank you.
The next two speakers that you're going to hear from, you're all very familiar with. They're from this area, and they fight for this neighborhood each and every day. Those are our two state representatives, Brandon McGee, and also Representative Douglas McCrory. Please come up.
I don't have a speech, so I just took it out just because it felt good to put on the... So since everyone has already spoken about why we're all here today, I'll start off with what Trudy Merrill would say. How would we, or how should we, appreciate our beautiful nobodies? And that is those individuals that attend all these meetings that we're talking about, the phone calls that we experience. Yes, Senator, thank you for calling. And everything else that we do in this area. Contrary to what the news display, this community is growing, and it's growing by leaps and bounds, and it's because of many of you. And so I think this is just a continuation of the growth in this community and what we're doing. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank you, Mr. Mayor, and Council President Sean Wooden, and all of the great leaders in our neighborhood. But oftentimes, Doug, and I think you will agree, they let us speak last, I guess, but you know, it's all good. But at this time, I'll just call on my colleague. He can end us off.
So, good job. Real quickly, I guess I will thank everyone here. I mean, this is a function that everybody been thanked because there's been a lot of hard work. But I especially want to thank Senator Murphy, and this for two reasons. First of all, if you had an opportunity to read the paper today, you should read his editorial about the North End at Hartford. So this has been real for him for a very long time. And I know, secondly, personally, because I served with Senator Murphy at the state capitol years back when he was a senator, and he's always had a commitment for doing what is right. So what I will say quickly in closing is understand something. The only thing I disagree about Senator Murphy is he said, forget about the statistics. And I'll say, no, don't forget about the statistics. Because the statistics was got us here. There's a reason why we got this promise. And understand something. What it is a promise. And you know as well as I know, we've been promised a number of things in this particular area of Hartford. And it's our responsibility and your responsibility as citizens in this neighborhood to hold us accountable for the promise to come to fruition. So there's been a lot of conversation about what we're going to do at the federal level and the state, but we also have a responsibility, myself and my colleague, from the state level to continue to invest in this community. There was talk about Baltimore. Well, you know as well as I know, you can go to any community across this country that look like Baltimore, and that Baltimore could be Hartford tomorrow. Okay, so unless we don't want to see a Baltimore, we need to invest in this community, and this is a great start. So congratulations, let's continue to work. We have a lot of work to do, and remember, hold us accountable for what this is going to be. Thank you very much.
Well, before we move into questions from the media, I want to thank all of you for being here. I spoke directly on Sunday with U.S. HUD Secretary Julian Castro, and Deputy Secretary, please again convey our appreciation and our thanks for him having chosen North Hartford for this privilege of being able to have this designation. Secretary Castro and I spoke on Sunday. We had a great conversation. We had spoken back during the U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting in January of this year and had a long conversation about North Hartford and the Senator's efforts and our efforts to band together to bring hope to this community and to bring progress. So again, I would like to thank U.S. Secretary Castro for this. We need to take advantage of this opportunity and continue to work together. So I want to thank everyone who's here, mentioned or not mentioned. You know who you are. Thank you. Let's continue to work with our community to bring progress and opportunity to all our children and all our families. And with that, we're ready to take questions.
We might have answered
No
all.
questions?
I have a
Any
question.
media
I have a
questions?
question. When will this initiative start, and does it have an ending date?
It starts right here,
Right
right
now.
now, with all of us.
And does it have an ending date?
All of us.
An ending date?
It's technically a 10-year designation. So we get the staff and the preference on grants for 10 years. That doesn't mean that it has to end at 10 years, but it's initially for 10 years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you so much. Thank you.